Cool Things Student Hackathons.
Thanks, Paul. Hi, everyone. Thank you all. Oh, hi. Thank you all so much for coming. I really do appreciate you all being here. I'm Connie. I am a dev test engineer and switching platform, and today I'll be talking about student hackathons. So some of you may be thinking when I said the word hackathons, ugh, we work in tech. We just had our own internal hackathon like 2 months ago. Can we please talk about something else? Or you could be thinking, ugh, we work in tech. Can we please talk about something else other than tech? So the reason why I wanted this presentation to be about hackathons was not only because hackathons were very instrumental in my journey through computer science and through my professional career, but also because I noticed in my conversations with people in the industry is that there's a different take on hackathons, more so in the focus of the competitive nature, which isn't wrong and isn't bad, but coming just out of school, there's a different view and perspective of what hackathons are and what they can be. So I just want to introduce to you all that sort of light into hackathons. But before I get into that, I want to share with you a story. So I'm going to take you all back to spring 2015. And there are two very important events happened this time. One, Left Shark happened. And for those of you who don't know, in 2015, Katy Perry was the halftime performer for the Super Bowl. And she had a backup dancer dressed up as a shark who could not follow the choreography of the performance at all. And he became an internet phenomenon known as Left Shark. The second thing that happened was I'm at Rutgers, and I'm struggling so hard to go through my computer science education. I'm not doing as well in classes that I thought I would be doing. And here's a Snapchat of me being passed out after working on a project for, I think I spent an all-nighter on this. So I'm really low in my computer science education. I'm very close to giving up. And then what happened was there was an event happening that semester called Hackers. Hackers is a student hackathon that's, the main focus was to get more women involved in tech, but it was also a very beginner-friendly hackathon. So when I got the notification that this event was happening, I thought to myself, this seems cool, why don't I go check it out? And so I went to the event. I didn't have a team in mind. I didn't have a project in mind. All I had was my knowledge of Java, my knowledge of C, and my front-end development skills that I picked up through Neopets. So I went into this hackathon, and I teamed up with a friend from high school who was there, and together we made a website game based on Katy Perry's halftime performance. So the premise of the game was that you would play the role of Left Shark. Your goal as Left Shark is to try and match the choreography with Katy Perry and Right Shark by just clicking on the shark. It was a simple HTML page. But the way we coded this was that every time you click on Left Shark, you would just get a random move. Like it would not, there's no pattern or rhyme whatsoever. So you would never be able to sync up with Katy Perry or Right Shark. So you would forever be Left Shark from the halftime performance. And this got, so when we were demoing this to the entire hackathon, everyone just cracked up, including the judges. We got the entire auditorium just roaring. And for me, knowing that I was able to create something that got that reaction from people and kind of brighten up their mood, also just being able to build this after thinking I couldn't see a future in computer science from my academic side of life, like that just gave me a huge boost I needed to kind of power through my computer science education. And that would not have been possible had I not attended this one hackathon. And from there, I got to attend like over 20 hackathons from that time to like the time I graduated. So let me show you some reasons why student hackathons are actually really cool and what kind of got me to keep going to these hackathons over and over again. Oh, sorry. So whether you're working in industry or you're in school, you're kind of limited to what kind of technologies you can work with. What makes hackathons so cool is that when you go to these events, you can build whatever you want and use whatever technologies you want. And a lot of times, there are workshops and mentors there to help you out with your projects. So a lot of workshops you'll see include like intro to web development, intro to mobile development, intro to UX, user experience, intro to design, intro to hardware hacking. You name it, it's probably at a hackathon already. And these hackathons are guided by mentors who are really passionate about sharing their knowledge with students. So you know that whoever's leading these workshops are going to give the energy and resources needed for you to succeed in whatever projects you want to build. And again, this is just a great place to pick up a skill you otherwise would not normally get. For me, that was like front-end development for a lot of the hackathons I went to. And there's actually a really cool thing that's helping the hackers there as well. So Major League Hacking, which I'll get more into them later on in the presentation, they did a survey for all the hackers that attended their events. And they found that 88% of hackers at their events gained skills that they were not getting in the classroom. That's a significant portion of attendees saying that they're leaving with something they didn't know before. And from that, 41% of hackers said that they got a skill that they were able to apply it at a job through their attendance at hackathons, through picking up the skills there. And I can attest to this statistic because that left shark hack actually landed me my first internship. So oftentimes when we think of hackathons, we often think of all coding, no fun, which isn't necessarily the case. Usually there's a set period of time at a hackathon where you're allowed to go interact with the other attendees and play games, socialize, network, and so forth. And it's a really great chance to meet students not just at your school, but also other schools as well, because students are coming from different universities all around to attend these events. And I actually met some really cool people not even at Rutgers, through hackathons. And they're actually some of my closest friends today. And we've kind of established this community of hackers going to these events as well. In Rutgers' sense, actually in a lot of schools, you often see students having this fresh, renewed spirit for tech and hackathons. And a lot of these student organizations kind of want to carry that spirit throughout the rest of the year as well. So you'll often see a lot of student organizations assembling students together to go to these hackathons, or to have hack nights where people are learning something new outside the classroom, and so forth as well. So this is kind of like trickling down even outside the hackathon scene and forming community within these schools as well. Also online as well. So you can actually find a lot of hackathon-related Facebook groups or internet groups where you have students from across different universities and even the world interacting with each other and assembling each other to go to these events or share news about what's happening in tech or kind of encourage each other throughout their academic or even professional career as well. So for me, I benefited so much from this community and through attending hackathons, and I probably would not be at Cisco had it not been through these events. So seeing how hackathons benefited for me, the next step is always to give back. So what was the next move? How can I give back to this community that has helped me so much? So for me, that came in the form of actually organizing events. And I had the honor and privilege to help organize both HackerU and Hackers at Rutgers. And it's been a crazy and amazing journey, and it's something I miss very much. You meet so many cool people through organizing hackathons at your university. You're spending sleepless hours trying to put together these events and making sure that hackers have an amazing experience. And the best thing you can hear as an organizer is the hackers saying, wow, I learned something, and I had an amazing time learning and building something. And that's kind of the marker of success for us organizers to hear that. Also, as being an organizer, you're kind of thrown into this network of organizers that within your college that know the journey and want to help you succeed. So for Rutgers, we have so many alumni who were organizers, and we're still connected to these hackathons to this day. I had people actually this year who I've never seen, but they hit me up to ask help to how to organize their hackathons. And as alumni, we always want to see these events succeed because they meant so much to us, and we want to continue fostering that spirit in the next generation as well. So just by being a hackathon organizer, you're connected to all these people, and we're all, even if you've never seen them before. But not just only in your school. There's actually a network that goes beyond other universities as well. And we've all kind of experienced the same challenges and frustrations that kind of bonded us in that way as well. So this is a picture of HackCon, which was a Hackathon Organizers Conference, and that's about 300 people in that room, and we all bonded and we all got to know each other because we all knew the struggles of organizing hackathons, and we even coordinated transportation and events so that we can kind of help each other build up our events as well. So I mentioned before in my presentation Major League Hacking, so I kind of want to go into more detail about what they do. So hackathons have gotten so big that there's actually even a company that organizes hackathons and helps students organize their hackathons as well. So Major League Hacking is a B Corporation company that helps empower student hackathons. And what a B Corporation company means is that they're a for-profit entity that is very socially conscious of what they're doing and how their business impacts other people as well. So every year, they give out a survey to hackers who attend their events, so that come time for Hackathon, which is the organizers' conference, they can present these numbers to the hacker organizers, and they can kind of figure out what the best practices are going to the next season. So I just want to share with you all some numbers that came about this past Hackathon's surveys. So, without further ado, so in the past year, there's been about 238 hackathons happening all over the world. Considering that in 2013 there were about 18 hackathons in the league, going from 18 hackathons to 238 hackathons in 5 years is a lot. It's a huge jump. And in 1 weekend alone, the most number of hackathons happening simultaneously was 15 hackathons. And that record was broken 4 times in the past season. In total, there was about 65,000 hackers attending these events, and about 2,000 organizers helping these events run. And in total, these events raised over $10 million in sponsorship. $10 million by students running these events. That's a lot of money. So I do mention that this is student-run events, and you're probably all thinking, like, that's great, but we're all not students. How can we be involved in this? Well, even though you may not be students, there are plenty of ways for people to get involved in the hackathon community. First you can do is sponsor a hackathon. These events do require a lot of money, and not only will you be helping these events run, but it's also a really great marketing tool and a really great way to get new talent into the company. I believe I saw a statistic where if you a hackathon, getting attendees from a hackathon to join a company was about 22% hiring rate, whereas if you go to a career fair, it was about 2%. That's a huge difference. That's 11 times what you would get from a career fair. So it's a worthwhile investment if you do consider investing in these events. Another thing you can do is to simply tell your friends and tell your family. I had a number of people asking me, hey, how can I get this person or this family member more interested in computer science? Well, I would say, talk to them about hackathons. Tell them about hackathons. Help them out researching whatever's happening near their area. Because there are plenty of events happening all around, and honestly, nothing's a great place to learn and start than going to the events. And the most you can ask them to do is just check it out and just have them explore and just be open-minded. Now, another thing you could do is actually check out the demos. There are certain hackathons that will allow the general public to come in and view the demos. That's something you'll actually have to contact the hackathon and see if that's permitted. But it's a great way to see what people are working on at these events. And finally, mentoring. Mentoring is so crucial and so important. Hackathons need mentors more than anything. And you can host a workshop, you can help hackers out, and as a mentor, you can really make a hacker's experience. So actually, about 3 months ago, I was mentoring at Pixel Hacks, which is at San Mateo. It was a high school women's-focused hackathon. And I was helping out this student. She was trying to build something with a Flask. And I personally never used Flask. So Flask is like a back-end Python framework. And I was just trying to help her out throughout the event. I was trying to read the documentation. So I was guiding her. Even though I didn't have any experience, I just tried to help her get through the material. And she actually ended up winning a prize. And she emailed me afterwards saying, hey, thank you so much for helping me. I really had a lot of fun building this project. I learned so much. I want to keep doing this. As a mentor, that means so much, because you really are helping the next generation develop that interest in technology. And I actually had another friend who she mentored at HackerU this past semester. And she was telling me how she had a hacker come up to her crying because her project was not working. And she was able to help her as well. And she didn't win anything, but just the fact that she was able to help her and give her the confidence again to go forth with her project meant so much. So you can really do a lot of good by being a mentor. So I talked a lot, but I want to leave with this one story. So a few months after Hackers and the whole Katy Perry hack, my friend and I, the same friend I worked on the Katy Perry to hack with. We go to Hacker U Spring 2015. And we decided, hey, we want to work on a different kind of project this time. Let's work with something in hardware. So we decided to pick up a Pebble from the hardware lab, and we made this Pebble app called Fluffy Your Caring Cabin. Basically what this app was it was a Pebble Watch app that helped guide you through anxiety exercises. So if you were having if you're really nervous or something, or you really can't calm down, there's a bunch of exercises you can go through with the app in order to help bring you to a better, calmer state. And we actually ended up winning Best Wearable App, and we got a Pebble Watch as our prize. We got this watch. So what happened was, the same day, I go back to my apartment, and then I'm talking to my roommate about it. And my roommate knows I've been struggling a lot with computer science. And I was telling her about the hackathon, I was telling her about that we won the prize, but I also told her that, hey, even if we didn't win a prize, the best thing about the hackathon was just being able to learn and come together with someone else and build this application. And she looked at me and she was like, Connie, just listen to yourself. You are very passionate about what you're doing. You enjoy this so much. Even though whatever happens in your academic journey, just take out your watch, look at it, and remember what you just told me. You belong here more than anything else. And I would not have gotten to that conclusion without hackathons. And it's my mission to kind of help continue that and help other people who feel that way and give them the confidence they need to keep going forward in this field. And that's completely 180 from this. So thank you so much for listening.
So we have probably about 5 minutes or so for any questions that anybody has about.
Yes.
So I imagine you've probably participated in the internal hackathons at Cisco as well? Or?
I actually have not.
You have not?
I signed up too late for that.
Okay.
So.
Well, then maybe it's a future question for you, but I wanted to see what your opinion was on the biggest differences between our internally held ones and what you saw in academia, because I never did any in my degrees, unfortunately. Only when I got to Cisco I started doing them, and I definitely would reverberate all the positive things you said about them. So I just don't really know how they compare to the university held ones.
Yeah, I can't, because I haven't been to the internal one a few months back. I can't answer that question, but if you want to have a conversation about that after the next hackathon, you can still ping me or Jabber or Spark, and we can discuss further on.
Cool, thanks.
Yes?
How many people have approached you for mentoring? From your college?
This past year I had about 5-6 organizers approach me after I graduated. A lot of them were new to organizing hackathons, and they were so I was more responsible in marketing, so a lot of people were new to how to market a hackathon. So usually they would just ping me on Facebook, and we would just go over, and I would help them how to do social media, what campaigns to do, what's the message you want to come across, how do you build a website, and so forth. I think, yeah, about quick handful. Yes?
By the way, it's really cool what you've done with this and your journey and what you're trying to do, so really that's awesome. My question is more of a curiosity thing. So you talked about companies sponsoring hackathons. Have you seen a lot of Cisco presence, or have you been at a hackathon that was sponsored by Cisco?
So actually Cisco did sponsor this previous HackCon. I think it was DevNet that was there.
Cisco Dev.
I also know that they were sponsoring a few on the West Coast. So I'm from New Jersey, and as far as I know, Cisco has not been active at Rutgers. So we didn't have Cisco as a sponsor in some of the schools I've been to along the East Coast.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, I say that not knowing what are the rules with HR and so forth and how each BU does it. But if you have the means to sponsor a hackathon, it's a great way to get your BU out there if you're trying to recruit new grads.
Because that's what I was trying to point out, because Cisco leadership, especially the leadership in Ian, is very enthusiastic about making these investments. So you have some great ideas, and maybe you can bring them up and I can connect with you later. So they would be more than happy to invest in
Oh
this
wow,
as
that
well.
would be great. Yeah, I'd be more than happy to start a discussion on that too.
So did you take did you anytime think to take over your idea to the next level?
To my what?
To the next level, any of these ideas?
No, That's actually a big issue in the field almost, that there are a lot of hackathon ideas that kind of die down after the hackathon.
Right.
So one thing that we were trying to approach as organizers, like how do we keep people going? What I've seen is that a lot of schools have started incubator programs.
Right.
I know University of Maryland has a really good program. Rutgers is about to kick off their incubator program. I think I saw something in Berkeley too, but that's something we're actually in the middle of addressing. And me personally, I just haven't had the time in my college career to kind of go back to these projects, but I would like to actually. Except the Pebble kind of died down, and it's not a thing anymore. It's been bought by Fitbit, which I'm still a little sad about.